Alright, in this section we're going to start addressing infantry versus vehicles and how that's going to work. In this video we're going to focus on the close assault specifically. Now I have covered bits of close assault in some previous videos, especially the ones concerning movement, on when you can and can't use close assault. Make sure you read over that section or watch those particular videos to see the specifics on that. Now, close assault can be conducted by multi-man counters, heroes, or leaders that are carrying eligible support weapons, and it cannot be conducted by weapon teams. Also, you cannot conduct it against a vehicle that has passengers riding on it. So in my example laid out here, if this Sherman tank were to have a squad that were riding on it as passengers, it would not be able to be close assaulted at that point. Now, there are a few steps that you have to conduct to take and conduct a close assault. The first one is that you must pass a morale check, and you're going to start with your leader, and if he passes his morale check, then he can take and help others with their morale check. And as usual, if you're in a positive terrain or a terrain with a positive terrain modifier, then you get to subtract 2 from that morale check. So in my example laid out here, they would not get the -2 for their morale check for positive terrain because they're in open. But the leader, if he passed his morale check, could take and assist the squad with his leadership value with their own morale check. If they fail the morale check, they'll be marked with either a moved or an ops complete marker, just depending on whether or not they moved into this hex prior to starting their attempt at a close assault or they started in it with their impulse. If they pass, then you're going to move on to your next step and you'll go ahead and move them into the hex and start conducting the close assault. This movement into the hex itself is not eligible for op fire. Now, when it comes to a close assault, each multi-man counter or hero is going to assault individually. They're not going to be totaled up together. So if there were multiple squads here conducting the close assault, you would only take and conduct the attack separately for each one of them. You would not total it together. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take a 1d6 roll and add it to their inherent firepower, plus any leadership modifier, plus the HE value of any one anti-tank support weapon. So in the example that I have laid out here, you would have their firepower of 2 plus the leadership modifier of 1, giving them a total of 3, and then you would add that to a 1d6 roll, and you're going to compare it to the vehicle's lowest armor value plus a 1d6 roll. So our Sherman here, the lowest value is a 2, so they would add 2 to a 1d6 roll and compare them. If the attacker is greater, then the vehicle is just going to be destroyed. It'll be replaced with a wrecked marker, and any passengers in the vehicle are going to be eliminated. The surviving close assaulters are going to be marked with a melee marker at that point. Now, if they're unsuccessful and don't destroy the vehicle they're close assaulting, then they're going to be returned back to their origin hex, and they'll be marked with a moved marker instead. Now, if there are 2 vehicles, so let's say there were 2 Sherman tanks here, you're not going to total things. Again, it's going to be conducted separately. So what I mean by that is you would have the attackers come in and they would conduct the entirety of the first close assault, and if they succeeded in destroying the first vehicle, then they would start the process all over with the second vehicle in the hex, starting from the beginning with their morale check.